So I have used a definition from Dr. Kasan's own book, Touched by the Light. I've used her definition was more extensive than what I've given here. I simply used part of it that I felt pertained to what I was speaking about. So it's a sense of being purified, followed by profound spiritual upliftment and heart opening, and or a union with the divine. So there we are. And so I will get to my story. So this is one of my first significant mystical experiences from 1999 that may be described as a mystical experience called purification. And so this happened in early October of 1999 during a trip to the spa. I had organized an aromatherapy massage session. I was 34 years at this age, and I had two small children. I was my husband's office manager. I did the yard work, the housework, the blood, just name it. I did it. And I didn't get to have too much relaxation very often. So this was a special occasion. And so on this day, I had a 90-minute aromatherapy massage session. And when it was done, with my eyes closed, I was seeing violet. And fortunately for me, the therapist said to me, take all the time that you need to come around. And I thought, fantastic. Because at this point, I had already been practicing transcendental meditation. And from my own understanding about that, when you see violet light clairvoyantly or sense it, but then you are connected to your higher self. So I thought I would just take a moment to connect with my higher self. And so I asked, I'd like to speak to my highest possible guide, please. And immediately, a male energy spirit guide was shown to me. He looked like he was dressed in monk's robes, like long brown, like to the floor, raw cotton kind of robes with maybe a hood. He had brown hair. And he said telepathically to me, drink more water. And I remember thinking, thank you so much for that very practical, commonsensical message. Is there anything more profound that my higher self could tell me? Are you my highest possible spirit guide? And then I heard him say, there is one other. And instantly now I could see a very large, and when I say see, I mean in my mind's eye, clairvoyantly. Now I can see a very large angel wing. It just fills my entire vision, and it's illuminated with pure white light. And I'm very aware that I can see details in this angel wing. Like there are feathers overlapping, and it's huge and magnificent. What struck me was it wasn't pristine white. It was more ancient, like it was almost like it was an antiqued color. But of course, this is symbolic. It was showing me that I had connected to an angel and that this angel was more of an ancient angelic being. And this, so then I received a download of information through my clear cognizance or clear knowing that this was Archangel Gabriel. And so Gabrielle had personal messages for me. And so now I was aware that I wasn't seeing anything more with my clairvoyance. It was more on a pure consciousness level that I was experiencing Archangel Gabriel. And the messages that Gabrielle had for me it seemed as though they were pertaining to my future, because what Gabrielle was talking about wasn't something that I was experienced with or knew anything about, but I took that in. The experience came to a close, and then I was back on the massage table wondering, oh my goodness, how long was I in that meditation? I hope I didn't take too much time up. And so now I'm rushing. I get off the massage table, I get myself dressed, and I'm opening the door to the treatment room. And I still have my handle on the door as I swing it open. At that very moment, the person who had given me my aromatherapy massage session, who happened to be the spa owner, looked in at me. And one would maybe expect to see like a smiling face or something as I'm looking out. But what I saw was a little bit startling. She had this look of surprise on her face and almost alarm. And I remember that she's standing in the hallway, but now she's like saying orders to some of her employees, take her to the front and sit her down, don't let her leave, go across the street and get her some lunch. And I'm wondering, what could I possibly look like? I thought I was back in ordinary reality. What? And so I did what I was asked to do. I went and I sat down. And after this experience, this angelic experience, it took me an hour to come back to ordinary reality, to be grounded in my body. And I am so grateful to the spa owner. Of course, I believe in synchronicities. Of course, I believe that she passed that room at that very moment because I needed to not just go to my vehicle and drive out into the city. But I am truly grateful that she took care of me at that time so that I was properly grounded back in my body and in ordinary reality so that I could then drive home safely. And so then that evening, when I got home around dinner time, my husband offered me a glass of wine. And typically, he would have a busy day, I would have a busy day, and we would enjoy a glass of wine together each night. And when he offered me this glass of wine, I remember thinking and knowing, just on a knowing level, not thinking, there was no logical thought into this. It was intuition, and it was my body responding to the wine. And it was no, thank you. And I would never have said no, thank you to a glass of wine prior to my angelic experience with Archangel Gabriel that day. So I noticed. And then the next morning, I went to start my day with a cup of coffee. And typically I would have a cup or two to start my happy day. And as I was going through the process of making the coffee again, intuitively, I was getting no, my body was responding like, ick, no, thank you. And it was really a hard no. No to coffee, more caffeine in the coffee. And so then there was a download of knowing that because of my angelic experience with Archangel Gabriel, the desire for alcohol and caffeine left me. Please understand that I didn't ask for this to go. I didn't set an intention to say, please help me let go of alcohol and caffeine. It just went after my experience with Archangel Gabriel. And so I know without a doubt that this experience served to purify my mind, body, and spirit. Just toxins from caffeine and alcohol were needing to be purified in my system. So looking back, perhaps the first spirit guide that I kind of was like, that's pretty commonsensical. Perhaps he knew more than I did. He was saying, drink water. And now I would be drinking more water. And so this spiritually transformative experience profoundly changed how I functioned in the world and communicated with higher consciousness. And 2 years later, I was drawn to work with Reiki healing energy. I know now that this purification was in preparation for my future spiritual work, allowing a clearer channel to receive guidance without the interference of chemicals or substances.